The state capture whistleblower and former ANC Member of Parliament, Vytjie Mentor, has now joined the People's Dialogue, which is, of course, headed by Herman Mashaba. And this movement will be registered as a political party in the near future. Now, Mentor is also the chairperson of was the chairperson of the Public Enterprises Portfolio Committee in Parliament back in 2010. And she is perhaps best known for speaking out about how she was offered a ministerial position by the Gupta family in exchange for cancelling one of SAA's routes to India, and how she turned that offer down. And she joins us now to talk about her move. And thanks so much for your time this morning. Welcome to Morning Live, Ms. Mentor.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me, and good morning to your viewers also.
So we're speaking now at a time of COVID-19. So before we talk about your move in the political arena, do you have any opinion that you would like to share with us regarding the President's address to the nation last night?
Well, the President mentioned two things, the closing of schools and the money that has been squandered in no time. Of course, he wouldn't put it that way. We did question in the first place why they opened the schools when we were heading for a peak. So I don't know how government thinks, honestly, because what we warned them of has actually materialized. We told them that it was not wise to open schools at the time when they opened schools. And I'm telling you now, anybody that's going to do some serious research is going to find a leak in the peak of COVID infections, a direct link as a result of not only it will not be the only factor, but it will be one of the main contributing factors that schools were opened when we were approaching the eye of the storm of the COVID pandemic. Because the reality of the South African situation is majority of learners in South Africa, they either travel by taxis to school or they walk together in groups. So to think that you can give them a sanitizer in the morning at the gate of the school, if ever there is a gate there, a sanitizer that's got 30% alcohol, and think that they would be able to wear masks the whole day, even at the time of play on the playgrounds, you are fooling yourself. And to bank on the fact that children do not, which is unscientific, do not get COVID-19 is unscientific and it's not real. And even if they don't suffer that much from COVID, even if they only experience mild symptoms, the fact of the matter is once they are infected, and I'm not even speaking about teachers, learners only, they will go back home to infect their parents and whoever they live with and their communities. The same applies to teachers. We have put teachers and learners at risk. We shouldn't have done that in the first place before we had peaked. That's the first point that he raised. Initially, when he introduced, not before, in another speech when he spoke about the COVID fund, the president had promised us accountability for the funds. But he's interestingly mum about how people are ravaging and self-enriching on this, including right from the president's office. We have read about how people are getting billions of tenders for PPEs, and people that are supposed to be protected by that money, and including the promise that was made of 350 rand to young people of South Africa that do not work to help them deal with issues that are brought forward of they were poor in the first place, they were unemployed in the second place, they are hungry now because the economy has been ravaged. They were promised at least a minimum of 350 per day, per month. That has not been realized. So I actually switch off when the president speaks. I did actually last night.
Well, all of these allegations, the president did say would be investigated, Ms. Mentor. And do you not think that it would be fitting to follow that particular logic? Because, as you say, we have read about these allegations against people even within the president's office. But should there not be a thorough investigation before we jump to conclusions? Because, and I think you would know this well, as what happened when you were the State Capture Commission, you have to prove these allegations that you actually make.
Look, the information is out in the public. Yes, an investigation should be done. But if it is an investigation that is going to drag on for 3-4 years, it's going to be a waste of money, like so many other investigations that we have had. So it is good to make a declaration that there will be an investigation, but are there mechanisms in place right now to make sure that that process of squandering those monies are put into an abrupt stop? Because you may investigate tomorrow, but what mechanisms are you putting in place to make sure that whatever is happening that is wrong comes to an end with immediate effect?
Now, Ms. Mentor, talking about your move now, there are, a whole host of parties that you could have chosen from, but you chose to make that move to the People's Dialogue specifically. Why? What motivated this move?
We have a plethora of political parties currently in South Africa existing. None of them so far have been able to dislodge the ruling party from the seat of power. We need a new vehicle. South Africa needs a new vehicle, and we need it very urgently. That will, one, give South Africans hope that it is possible to dislodge the ruling party from power, and two, that will have a strong ability and capability, as well as deep intention, to deal with issues of corruption and issues of making sure that we become once again a country that respects the rule of law. And also a party that will be a vehicle that will ensure that we have equality in South Africa, because that will regrow the economy and make sure that there's equal distribution of resources to all people in South Africa, because we have now since become the most unequal society in the world. So none of the currently existing parties actually have that capability. We need to unite urgently, and we need to give South Africa hope, and we need to begin working immediately, because we are racing against time. If we do not do it now, this is the last opportunity for us to actually do something about it. So I did not see any probability of the capability in that any other political party that's currently existing. They have so far failed, all of them, to dislodge the ANC from power.
If it were that easy to dislodge the ANC and the other parties clearly indicating that it isn't easy because, as you say, they have failed, what would the People's Dialogue do differently? Why do you think you would be capable of dislodging the ANC?
You see, if you dissect all the existing parties, from the ANC to the DA to the UDM, all of them, they are not actually a microcosm of what South Africa is. The ANC is predominantly black. The DA is predominantly white. The others have semblances of historical Bantustan dynamics, as well as regional basis. So the other strong virtue that the People's Movement is, the People's Dialogue is having as a policy position, is seriously putting on the table the issue of non-racialism, but also of bringing all people from all strata of life as members and effectively playing their role. So I think we haven't had a party like that previously. Every single party, it's either is predominant, is focusing on a particular interests of a particular class or a particular race group or a particular historic, is coming from a particular historic origin. So I think this vehicle has been, and in fact, credit to Mr. Herman Mashaba. What he did from the beginning, he opened dialogue with all South Africans, and he received, and I've been watching him since he left the DA. In December, he started this dialogue, and he invited all South Africans to share their views and to say what is it that they would like to see and to see happening in terms of rebuilding South Africa. And there were 2.4 million views from across the spectrum, not only experts, not only specialists, not only the rich, not only the poor, not only blacks, not only whites, everybody. That attracted me. And I think if you use that as a base, you have the ability to form a party that represents everybody and that has everybody participating in it.
So what role are you hoping to play? What role are you hoping to play in this party, Ms. Mentor?
I'm hoping to play a role that any other person in that party would be playing. I don't believe that there is any single individual that has more wisdom than other people. And I don't think that there is any person that should be put on a pedestal or that can be a magic wand in any party. I honestly believe in all people putting heads together and working together. So I do not have any particular desired role to play. I only want to make a contribution, like any other person should make a contribution in that party.
Well, thank you so much there. State capture whistleblower and former ANC Member of Parliament, Vytjie Mentor, who has now joined the People's Dialogue with Herman Mashaba, which will become a political party soon. And of course, as you know, we're headed to elections next year.